Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Catch Up After College podcast. We're catching up after college on the lessons of life lived by leaders. We're a safe space grounded in grace, and our aim is always to aid. We may be post-graduation, but we're never post-education. I'm Isaiah Brown, your host, and thank you for tuning in today. Today, we have the phenomenal Phoebe here with us. What's going on?
Hi, Isaiah. How's it going?
Pretty good. What's happening? How was your day?
My day was really good, actually. I had a day off and I spent the morning with some girls. And then what did I do? I came home. I actually had a pretty boring day, but it was a good chill day.
Yeah. Okay. Are you guys in quarantine or you're out and about?
No, we've been back at work for about a month now. So it feels pretty much here back to normal. Yeah, it's very different from the other side of the world.
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
That's good. Get to see people again, not
exactly,
in the house all the time.
We were a group of, I think, 25, 30 people today. Still socially distancing, but yeah, it felt very good to see more people. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Well, we want to get to know you a bit better. So, do you mind telling us how many countries you've lived in so far?
Oh, I have lived in 4.
Dang.
4 countries.
All right. So, after naming the country, do you mind including like a fun fact or a unique experience you had while there? If that's cool with you.
Oh no, Isaiah, fun fact. I am the worst at these. Oh no.
Or a unique experience you had there.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be better.
Do I have to name each of them?
Sure. It's just 4, or if you want to do 3, your choice.
Okay, so I have lived in the UK, so in London, in France, in Paris, and in Australia, in Sydney, and now I'm in Denmark, in Copenhagen. So I don't know. I'm really bad at stuff like this.
Okay. Any?
Okay, unique experiences.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Oh my goodness. Isaiah, I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
It's all good.
I am just so bad at stuff like this. I can't even think. My mind is blank.
No, it's all good. So, like, before the interview, I probably should have asked you more about this because I was wondering to myself, I was like, dang, I don't know what Phoebe's into or anything. Because, like, when your husband Yeshua was on here, we talked about like comedians
like this. He's
and
so
stuff.
Annoying.
Yeah. So, what kind of hobbies are you into? Maybe we'll just improv off of this.
Okay, cool. I am a huge nerd, so I love to read. So if anyone who's watching, they can see the book. It's my flex that no one really cares about.
It's all good.
I have that one. I have one bookshelf here and one over there, but I won't show you the other one. I mean, if you're watching the video, because my house is messy, so we'll just keep to the pretty one over here.
No worries.
Yeah, that's what I'm into. I'm a bit of a dork, if you didn't know that already.
No, it's all good. Yeah, like what are you reading right now? Any recommendations?
Oh gosh, a lot actually. I am reading. I don't know if I can get up. Is that okay?
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your house.
And then just like bounce off my lamp in my house.
Yeah. So, I think you're the first person who's ever gotten up while in the interview.
Oh, really?
You're making history.
I'm making history. Oh gosh, Isaiah, I have so many books. Oh, this is too hard. This is actually a really good already first question. Okay. Okay, I have 4.
Oh, dang.
Okay, so, I'm sorry. I'm super dorky, so I love this.
1 second. I'm taking notes of the books you're going to promote. So if I'm looking down.
I have been reading. I've got one in my bag. So I've been reading. First one, I've just started to read The Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston.
Mm,
So
okay.
this is really good. And there's a character in it called Phoebe. So
Nice.
I love that even more.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's an amazing book. I think I'm on like the fifth or sixth chapter, but this
Hmm.
one I'm just reading really slowly just because to digest it. It's amazing. So you have to read this one.
Hmm.
And then I've got Women Racing Class by Angela Davis.
Hmm.
I love this book. This is a must read. Every person, I mean, all these books are must read, but this is
Hmm.
definitely a huge must read. And then I've got my favorite fiction book, which is Queenie by Candice Cassie Williams. You have to read this book. It's like probably my favorite book.
Nice.
I read it I think 2 years ago or a year ago when it came out. I can't remember when. All the months and years are rolling into one now. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is an amazing fiction book. I love it, and it's set in South London where I'm from. So
Oh, dang.
I love that even more. And then fourth would be Hood Feminism by Nikki Kendall. This is a
Whoa.
great book, especially for what it's in the title. It says Notes from the Women White Feminists Forgot. So if you
Whoa.
are white and a feminist, you need to read this book
Hmm.
because it will change your life. So
Nice.
yeah, those are my recommendations.
Dang. That's definitely the most anyone's
Yeah.
ever given.
I'm sorry if that's so much. I just
Oh, no, it's a good thing.
it's just it's just what I do in my free time.
That's
And then
awesome.
I'm also normal and watch TV shows. So I'm not just a book person. I also watch far too much TV.
No, it's all good. You don't gotta make up for it, you know? So cool. How about what's your favorite coffee drink or favorite drink to have while reading?
A flat white with oat milk.
Okay, all right.
So flat white from Australia. So you would remember that.
Yeah.
And they don't have soy milk in Copenhagen.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, they don't believe in it. So
They don't
yeah,
believe in it.
yeah, it's so weird. But
Wow.
okay, yeah. When I first asked for soy milk, the guy looked at me like I had just insulted his mother. Like, how
Oh my
dare I
gosh.
ask for soy milk in a coffee? And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. I
it's
guess
all
we
good.
don't do that here.
Yeah. Well, oat milk is
Yeah,
like above like almond and soy, I think. So, you
I
know,
think so. So
yeah.
it technically is healthier. If it is, I'm not sure. I just like it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Have you become a coffee snob after Australia, Isaiah?
Oh yeah, I hated coffee, but when I moved to Australia, people kept forcing me to drink it. So I went from like chai latte to mocha to latte to just a shot, you know. So
So you
it's
really, you really went for
yeah.
uh, the actual real. You judge everyone else that just
Yeah.
drinks normal coffee now.
You know it, but it's been a journey, you know, and just
Yeah,
mature over time. So yeah.
right. You are the most mature of us all.
Right, right.
No,
Cool.
no, I believe it.
It's all good. All right. So I guess we kind of talked about before. You said you're from South London. Do you
Yeah,
mind describing what your life was like before you went to college?
yeah. So yeah, like I said before, I'm from South London in a place called Croydon. If anybody knows it, probably not. I would be very surprised. But yes, I'm from there, and I was um 18, 19 when I moved to Sydney, Australia to do college. So before I was just a regular student doing all the things a teenager does, and just then decided to do something a bit different instead of going to a university in the UK. Decided to go to Australia.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah,
How old you said you were when you went to Australia? You were
I was like 18, 19.
okay. Yeah. Wow, that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty young. Like, did you already feel pretty independent at that point? Like, you could take care of yourself?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was living with my brother at the time, just when I was finishing school. So it was sort of like I was already used to having a flatmate. So even though it was my
Yeah.
brother, it
Nice.
was pretty easy, like a easy transition.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when you were little, who did you want to be when you grew up?
Honestly, I know everyone will probably say like a doctor or an astronaut, but I really wanted to be a Spice Girl. That was
Oh
my
my
dream,
gosh.
to be a Spice Girl. It was
Yeah.
it was genuinely, I really thought it was my destiny to become a
Hmm.
Spice Girl. And I was absolutely devastated when they broke up and just
Hmm.
realized my dream wouldn't come true. But that's who I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah, that's an honest
I was like,
answer.
yeah, I will be honest. I'm not ashamed.
It's all good. There's still time. I think they're all still
They,
around. So
they are, and they did have a reunion, and I could have had my moment.
it's
I
all good.
really, if they gave me a chance, I would have been there
Man, dang. Well, next time.
next time.
Yeah. So I guess going back to college, but so
Spice Girls to college.
yeah, that's a good transition.
Easy, so yeah, easy transition.
Yeah. But how did you know that path was the right one for you personally?
Honestly, I just didn't see myself going to a university in the UK at that point. There's a lot of like, as I'm sure it is in the US, where you have to have the best grades to go to the best university, and then go to the best, and then have the best job. And if you sort of go to a mediocre one, it sort of tracks your life that way. So yeah, I just was like, no, I can't. My life is going too quickly, and I didn't really see college as something that I wanted to do, but I just thought I can do this for a year, see how it is. At least I'm doing something else rather than just having a gap year. I'm also studying and doing something, gaining more skills, making new friends. But yeah, then when I got there, I was like, wow, I've really, really enjoyed this place.
Nice. That's cool.
Met very cool people like yourself.
Oh, dang. Yeah, that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Might get the whole tutorial on here eventually, but
Yes, the best tutorial ever.
yeah, it was very hard for our teacher,
Memories.
but
So hard. We were
yeah,
the worst.
yeah. I'm sure he looks back and has good memories, but yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully. Shout out Raphael, whoever you are.
Yes.
But yeah.
I'm sorry for everything we put you through. But let's just blame it all on yes. Just being a
Yeah.
troublemaker.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. Yeah.
It wasn't us. It wasn't us.
There you go. It's the other people, but yeah. Cool. All right. So lately, I guess for season 2 of the podcast, well, we've been talking about diversity a lot lately, and I guess discrimination kind of comes up a bit as well. I remember asking Yeshua, I guess, like as a brown Mexican man, like what discrimination have you faced? But you're biracial, right? Or
Yes,
yeah.
my mum's Mexican. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, so as a biracial Mexican Caucasian woman, have you faced discrimination of any form before?
Honestly, I have been more around discrimination
Hmm.
because if you're not watching the video, I'm very white. So I'm white and a white passing Mexican. You wouldn't be able to tell unless I told you.
Hmm.
So for myself, no, not really. But obviously, growing up with my mum, who's Mexican, living in the UK, just being around that and being around all different kinds of discrimination towards her, yeah, that was something very difficult to grow up with, knowing that other people didn't look at your hero the same way that you did. And then obviously now being married to Yeshua, my husband, and seeing those same kind of attitudes is very, very confronting. But for myself personally, no. I mean, obviously, you know, you can say, oh, as a woman, you know, you could have had discrimination with like from the patriarchy, but honestly, like even white feminism on its own is very problematic. So no, for myself, no, but being around it, yes.
Yeah. So you're aware of it though. So that's actually a huge step though.
Yeah. It's been so around me my whole life, but never towards me.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. So what's been like your response like it when you see someone who's treated like in an unjust way and you're around it? Like what would you say to the person who's committing that action?
I get quite fired up about it because I just don't understand
Hmm.
why someone would choose to act or say in certain ways. So I'm quite known within my circles to speak out and call out
Hmm.
a lot and just, you know, call out different things like, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be like strong aggression or
Hmm.
how you want to call it, but
Yeah.
even small microaggressions, I hate them, and I just always call out and just ask the person to question why they're saying it and at
Hmm.
whose expense and what do they benefit from it. I think are the main things that I point out when I'm talking to someone, especially if it's a friend or a family member. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, not really so my family members, but I mean, people I call family.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So would you say you had a diverse experience in college and like the sense that you're exposed to different like cultures, people, and mindsets?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah and no.
Yeah,
You
a little
probably,
both.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like both, isn't it?
Hmm.
Because, you know, we were introduced to people from so many different countries and, you know, areas in the world. Like, you know, I don't think I'd ever met anyone from Southeast Asia, for example,
Hmm.
or met like two people. So being around, you know, their culture, that was really amazing, and learning more about, you know, yeah, all their different cultures, even Latin America, seeing all the, because all I'd known my whole life was like Mexico and, you know, very few other countries, but not like every single one, you know, which I felt was represented quite highly there. But yeah, it still was quite white as you looked across the board.
Yeah.
So in that sense, yeah,
Yeah.
yes and no seems to be my answer.
Hmm. Like it was more the, I guess the teachers were like white, but the students really weren't in a sense. Or I
Yeah,
don't want to speak for you, but yeah.
no. You're definitely right. There wasn't very much diversity within the staff.
Hmm.
I think that's changed quite a bit now, or it's
Hmm.
working towards that now, which is great. But yes, that yeah, within the student body, it's quite diverse to an extent. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I think you'd say overall you had a good college experience. Is there something you wish you learned in high school though, looking back?
In high school, oh, okay. Uh, it feels like 100 years ago, but um, no, but I think high school. I've been talking about this a lot with some friends, and especially within the UK, and you know what's going on at the moment with the Black Lives Matter movement, and
Yeah.
we're just talking a lot about how whitewashed our history is in the UK.
Mm.
I'm sure it's exactly the same in the US, but
Oh yeah.
especially more so, like not more so, but you know what I mean. It's very, very entrenched in the UK that, you know, we are, you know, the strong nation or whatever, and you know we don't actually learn a lot about Black history or like British Black history. You know, we learn a lot about uh, Black American history, like African American history, but we don't know a lot about, you know, people from the UK. So in that in itself is super problematic. So definitely that would be something that I'd wish I learned a lot more in school rather than having to learn when I leave. Yeah. And I saw like a meme the other day, also on socials a lot. And it said like, it was a picture of Henry VIII. And it was a picture, and next to it said, "Haven't you heard enough about me?" And I was like, it's so true. All we learn in school is about like the Tudors and Henry VIII and the Reformation, and even that itself is so annoying that that's the only side of history that we learn. So yeah, definitely would have preferred that in school. And then the obvious of, how do I pay taxes?
Yeah.
How do I get a job? The usuals, Does that take up? I've never used photosynthesis in my life, but glad I have that knowledge.
Yeah. That's real. Yeah, I'm with you on all those answers. I wish I learned a more diverse history for sure, and finances. Yeah, that's kind of the same place.
That's the big one.
Yeah, but cool. So how many colleges have you been a part of so far? Was it just Hillsong, or you did another college?
Just the one. So I just ended up there at Hillsong College. I did 3 years after my deciding to be there for one, ended up staying for 3.
Nice. Yeah. And you were there in Australia for how many years? It was like 6?
4.
Oh, 4. Oh, wow.
Yes was 6. Yes was 6. No,
okay.
You were half right. You were half right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yes, I think yes was 6, and I was 4. I think 4 or 5.
Okay.
Because we left halfway to get married in the UK, and then we came back. So it sort of rolls into one.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. And can you recall a season of having to learn like new skills or adapt to your environment to survive, especially in that Sydney season?
In the Sydney season, yes, I think having to be in an environment where it is quite, that's such the understatement of the century, is such an encouraging environment where I feel like people are really wanting you to dream bigger and have a bigger life for yourself than you'd already planned.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that was the biggest thing I had to learn, if that was your question. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think it was getting out of that that small mindset that I had for myself, that that my life could only be so small, but it could actually be a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And definitely allowing people to encourage you, especially that's my British side coming out of of just being super sarcastic and downplaying yourself a lot. And so I think that was a big learning curve of allowing people to encourage you and trust people when they were believing the best for you. So yeah.
Do you mind naming one of those dreams that you had to expand a bit, that you felt was small but now is bigger?
I don't think it was anything in particular, to be honest. I think it was just more, what you could do with your life. Because as well, I mean, with my family, it's never been that you have a small life. It's very much my parents instilled in us at a young age that we could do whatever we wanted to be. My mum and dad are still saying that to this day, and I'm like, nice. Okay, thanks guys. But I think it's just more when you're within those systems, like schooling and just the way that things work in the UK, and just knowing what path you're going on. So I think that in itself is, you don't have to be part of a specific pathway to get where you want to be. You can just choose your own way. So I think that was a big thing for me.
Nice. Cool. I like this question, but what's the most practical way you put to use all that you study so far?
So I'm literally answering every question with "oh, wow." This just shows you're such a brilliant interviewer, Isaiah. Thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias. So honestly, I use it when I left. I was thinking, oh gosh, how am I going to use these past 3 years, everything I've learned? How am I going to use that in my everyday? And I genuinely use it at work every single day. I use it I'm part of the key team at church, and I use that every day. And there's so many things that can translate across faith and non-faith organizations that I'm a part of. And those skills have literally just transformed everything, and the way I think and just the way I do things, where with some people I'm not bigging myself up here, but I'm just saying that where some people it might be not their first thought to think to, serve people or, have servant leadership, for example, or thinking of how to bring the best out of someone. It might not necessarily be their first thought, but for us, that's what we were taught. So I think that it definitely helps me within my work and non-work life. Yeah.
Awesome. So what's been the biggest roadblock or hurdle you've had to face since graduating college?
I think moving to another country and having to start all over again. I don't know if you also I'm sure you also experienced that. But when you've built something for however many years, and then you move somewhere completely different, and you just have to start at square one again. I think that was the biggest, not necessarily roadblock, because it was a good thing, but it was, I don't know, it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was probably quite naively going into a different situation of going, oh, this will be just like how it was a couple of years ago, but that not being the case. I think that was definitely the biggest roadblock, and overcoming that and getting a lot of thick skin of just learning again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
Like you say in your intro, that we're always learning. So yeah.
Oh, true. We're never post-education.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. So how was that season like? I think you moved from Sydney back to the UK, then to Copenhagen. Like, how did you even look for like a place to live or all that, or how did that process go?
Oh, we actually were really, really, really lucky, because it's very hard to find an apartment here. We were just lucky that we posted up on Facebook, and we already had the church community here. I don't know if Yesh touched on it before when he was on the podcast, but he had moved here previously, so he already had a group of friends and people that he knew. So yeah, and they definitely helped us a lot. And we actually rented our first apartment from people from church who moved to Sydney. So it was like a swap.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so networking.
So that was, yes, exactly. So that was really, really great. So yeah, I can't imagine for people who move and don't have a network, because it's very hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what has been the biggest surprise of adulthood or marriage so far, or both?
I don't know if you feel this also, but I feel like time is going so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like what were we saying, that last time we saw each other was what you said, 5 years ago.
Yeah, 2015,
5 years,
I think.
20. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So I think that for me really is insane. That I think that has been the biggest surprise of life. Just goes on and keeps going, and you just have to jump on that bus, or it's just gonna keep going. And yeah, I think that's been the biggest surprise for me, is life keeps going. We're getting older, and that's okay.
Yeah. I feel like you're going to quote Ferris Bueller for a second.
So close.
Yeah.
Bueller. That was really bad.
No, he has a good quote. I think it was, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you just might miss it."
It's
But
very true.
yeah, but check it out, young ones, if you don't know what Ferris
Yeah.
Bueller is. But yeah. So what do you do for work?
I actually, at the moment, work in retail. So
Nice.
I'm an assistant store manager here in Copenhagen in the city.
Nice.
And then also, but sorry, go on.
No, you're good.
Yeah, and then also I volunteer at our local church, Hillsong Church here in Copenhagen, as part of the key team.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. So what do you guys sell at the retail store?
Clothes and homeware and all those different, but mostly clothes. We're mostly a clothing store.
Nice. So Yeshua works for skincare and you work for clothes. Do you guys look pretty trendy all the time, or?
Yes, he is. Yes, definitely. I mean, he has definitely become I'm so happy he works at that skincare place. It's very nice getting nice things at home now.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So 2020, reflecting on it, what are the first couple of things that come to mind to you personally?
Ooh. Again with the ooze.
Yeah.
I think painful and opportunity. Mm-hmm. So I think those would be my two words, but I'd probably go growth, because that's sort of pain and opportunity together. You sort of have to grow. So growth would probably be my word for 2020.
Dang, that's a Phoebe quote. Pain and opportunity equals growth. Yeah. Okay. So I guess we're talking about this before we start recording, but what's been like your company's response to like COVID and I guess the whole Black Lives Matters movement? Have they been involved in any of those subjects? Like had a response?
Yeah, definitely. With COVID, they were great. I mean, with both actually, but with COVID, they were really good to start off with. We were probably one of the first to respond in our city, so that was really positive, and they took it very seriously. So that was great, especially being here where, I mean, it is taken seriously, but not so as well. So it was great to see the care that they had for staff for that moment, and still ongoing. And the same with the Black Lives Matter movement. Definitely have been involved in different conversations, training staff, donations, a lot. Yeah.
That's awesome. Man, I keep referencing Yeshua, but I guess that's going to keep happening because
that's okay. I mean, I'm not my own person, am I?
No,
I'm joking. I'm only playing.
You're one, so
I'm only playing.
We talked about you on his podcast. We're going to talk about him on your podcast.
Okay, so. Fair enough.
Yeah, but we're talking about how when a company goes beyond a statement, that says a lot about what they believe in. So that's awesome that they're like retraining and making donations and all that. What are your views on going beyond a statement?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely more than that, and we need to. I'm really like hoping and praying, both within companies and within churches, if I can also talk about that. That we're not just putting a blanket statement out, and we're not just putting a band-aid on an open wound, but we're actually willing to do the work and actually move forward and actually make those opportunities and see this as actually a really good thing that's happening, not something that we have to have like a optical allyship on, but that we're actually doing the work in both organizations. So I'm really praying that it actually is true and consistent.
Yeah, consistency, that's a big thing for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And making you know our employees and communities within church feel safe and heard. And I think that's so important, that it's not just this is the moment within 2020, but what's going to happen in 2021.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely get to reflect. Now I'm going back to Bryony's episode, one of your best friends. So
Yeah.
she
Hi,
said
Bri.
that, yeah, she said 2020, it makes you really, it's a season for listening and reflecting. And I
Yeah,
feel like it's for sure. Yeah, I agree.
definitely. And I think this is a great opportunity for people to listen. I think it's so important. I think that's the first thing when you're in leadership. If you are even in your personal life, but as we're speaking on leadership at the moment within work and church, I think the best thing to do is, the first thing and the most important thing to do is listen, and to have that humility of going, I don't know, and I don't know what you're going through, and I'm not going to pretend or say it's nothing, but actually genuinely listen and care. Yeah, I think, yes, Bri, I'm just agreeing with what you're saying.
No, it's good. It's a good thing. So, what are two benefits to having diverse friendships?
Oh, I think it definitely makes you have a better worldview, because you're not just surrounded by people who look the same as you, have the same upbringing,
Mm-hmm.
and just have a complete different culture to you. I think is very, very important, and I think it builds you as a person a lot more. But I also think that it's not just the answer of having diverse friendships.
Mm-hmm.
I read a quote the other day, and it said, it really, really it hit me, because it was saying, a dad can be sexist and have two daughters.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh, it's so true. Even within, you've got that person that's like, oh, but I have a black friend, and you're like, oh, just.
Yeah.
So I think it's super important. I also, I think people shouldn't just hide behind that.
Yeah.
Show up for your friends, though, definitely.
True that. I agree. So, can you give one tip to being a great leader in your field of work?
I think a great tip would be to really focus on your people, your staff. I think for me, that is the biggest thing that drives me, and that's my passion. So this will be my tip. Because people always remember how you treated them and how you built them. So you can always think of, when you had a great boss and a bad boss. So I think you really have to focus on the people you're surrounded with. How are you building them? How are you making them grow? They might even succeed you, but that's fine. It's how are you getting them on the track for their growth within their workplace. I think that would be my tip.
That's pretty awesome. I like how you said, like, if someone kind of succeeds you, like, how is it like training up somebody who who's going to do like great things, even if it goes beyond yourself? How's that experience been?
I think it's a really good thing, because I think it says a lot when I've seen it. I think it says a lot about your character and how well you are at bringing, because it's not you that's taught them all these things, it's just you bringing it out of them. Mm-hmm. So I think that it shows a lot about you as a leader. So I think it's a really positive thing. I think we should definitely be doing that more. And, we should always be, growing ourselves and leading. But I think I really, really admire people who do that on the daily of just, it just shows a lot about who you are.
Yeah, because they're
So I
gonna,
think that makes it a lot easier.
yeah, for sure. They're gonna thrive whether you're in their life or not. So might as well help
Exactly.
them on that journey for sure.
Exactly.
So I guess going back to your work, what's one tip you would give someone who wants to do what you do right now?
Ooh. To do what I do, I would say, okay, I've got two things. First one is when you're just starting off. This is just a pet peeve of mine, so I just have to talk about it. Have a good CV. I know it's so simple, but the work I've seen very horrible CVs and cover letters. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, they would make you cringe. Don't copy and paste. You know, when you're applying for jobs, especially young people who might be applying for like a retail summer job or uni job or something, don't copy and paste to every retail because you can see it a mile away. So be personable. But what I would say is look for the values that you have and look at the values of the company that you're working for or that you wish to work for. And definitely look and see if they align. That's a big thing. And third one would be have self-care. Prioritize your days off. Prioritize looking after yourself because it's very easy to bleed on your co-workers when you're hurting or when you're tired or stressed. So it's very important. I think I very much prioritize self-care and having a day off. And that's my sanctuary because then I know it will set me up for a good rest of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Set that
so there's
phone to
a
airplane
different.
mode.
Yes. Do not disturb.
That's awesome. So, what's your dream job and how did you discover what it was?
Honestly, I don't know what it is yet, which is quite exciting. I used to stress out about that quite a lot, but I think it's more exciting now. But I think it's definitely within working with people, I think is my biggest, as you've heard. Working with people, working for equality is something I'm very passionate about. And that being a strong like influence in my life and that I want to have within my workplace or my dream job, and create that for a good, healthy, safe environment for people. So yeah, I think that's my dream job. Don't know what it is or if it's out there, but yeah, that's mine.
Okay. But it's definitely around people.
Yes.
Nice. Cool. All right. So, looking back, is your life where you thought it would be at the moment? And do you have any experiences that the audience can learn from?
I definitely didn't think life would be where it is right now.
Hmm.
I mean, on the first day that we met, if you told me I'd be living in Copenhagen and married to Yes, I
Hmm.
would have said you were crazy. Yeah, no, I definitely didn't see this as my life, but I'm so thankful that it is. And I'm so glad that what I thought I wanted didn't actually come to pass because it's pretty great. Yeah. What was the second half of your question? Sorry.
Um, do you have any experiences that the audience can learn from, I guess, on expectations of where you thought you would be and where you are right now?
Yeah. Okay. I think it would be more take every day at a time, and don't say no to something quite quickly. Like explore your options. Take every day at a time because I think that's where we get more stressed of where we need to be and be on this like timeline of life. But I think we sort of need to get that out and just take each day as it comes, but also just looking at every opportunity as something good and positive that we can, I don't know, learn from and have new experiences. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sort of the same question, but shifting it to college, life expectations before and after, how have they changed?
For college itself?
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't really have any expectations before because I honestly didn't know that much about it. I know that's really embarrassing. Everyone was very much, well, not everyone, but it was quite the majority of people knew what they were doing and they wanted to go into ministry and you know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But for me, it was very much like, okay, I just got here. Can I have a shower after just being on this long flight from England? Like, please just let me go to my apartment. And I don't care what they say, let me go to sleep. Jet lag is a real thing. But yeah, I think that was, I didn't really have any expectations beforehand. But after college, honestly, I'm so take every day as it comes. I think that for me, that's been a huge thing since I've moved to Copenhagen. Because when we first moved here, it was, as I said at the beginning, it was a lot difficult. And, you know, I'll be honest about it. It was a lot harder than we thought it was going to be. But it was a lot of pressure. So then the minute we said, you know, we'll take every day, every month, every year as it comes, I think that was a real safety net of, okay, life is okay.
So why Copenhagen again?
Because Yesh moved here. He did 1 year of college and then moved to, when they first started the church, so he moved here for, I think it was 6 months or something, fell in love with it, then moved back to Sydney, and that's where we met. And he convinced me to go along with him.
Nice. Cool.
Kicking and screaming, but no, I'm joking.
Like,
I'm
nope.
joking. No, I very much thought that my life would be back in the UK, back in London. Yeah. But then I came here and I thought it was an amazing city, amazing people. So it wasn't a hard yes. It wasn't hard to say yes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. You're good. It's not too far from the UK, is it? It's like
exactly. I think it's not even an hour's flight.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Things are very much closer here than they are over there.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. Well, we're going to start to wind down a bit. Do you know, or do you mind naming your top 3 influencers in your life? They could be famous or not.
I don't really have named influencers in my life. I think I'm just really inspired by average people who just go against the status quo. I think for me it's really, really inspiring to see people go against the norm or what the norm thinking is and challenge it. And even though it might be in detriment to, you know, what their friends might think, or, you know, might harm their career, but for calling things out for the sake of other people, I think people like that really, really inspire me. And also people who have passions and go for them and do things like how you're doing this podcast. That so inspires me. It really, really, really inspires me. And I think it's an amazing thing that you're doing here. And it's just helping so many people that, people, like you inspire me, I'd say, for sure.
Oh, thank you. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to. Remember, we have to encouraging environment.
Oh, yeah, true. All right. Awesome. And what are some habits you developed at school that you still use today?
I am the worst at habits. I am the most I'm very bad at it. I tried to listen to that book, How to Build Habits or something like that. See, I can't even remember the title. That's how great I am at habits. So practically, I don't really have any, but I think just mentally, I think a lot about habits on looking at things to be thankful for. I think that's a big thing for me. Is it's very easy to look at your situation or what's going on, and be quite overwhelmed. This is something that I used when we first moved here. So I think it was 3 things to be thankful for when you wake up in the morning, and realizing that the things you might find little are actually big, but in a good way. So, when people say, I'm thankful for my friends, family, and health, that's actually a really huge thing, and not to belittle that, but that's actually really, really important, and how blessed are we that we can say those things. So, yeah.
Those for that. My gratitude.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you kind of already answered this question, but like, what books are you currently consuming? But how about podcasts or music or any other learning resources?
Yeah. I'll also I just remembered my book that I did recommend before, so I'll talk about that as well. I'm currently reading this book by Layla Saad. It's called Me and My White Supremacy. It's an amazing book if you haven't heard of it. It basically takes you on a journey, and it has reflective questions, and it really causes you to dig deep, especially for people who think that people, as in people like myself, who think we're one of the good ones, whatever that means. It really causes you to dig deep and unlearn a lot. So that book I really, really, really would recommend. I'd also recommend Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edo-Lodge. That is a great book, especially coming from a Black British perspective. That's great. Also, sorry, I just talk about books so much. And I just read another fiction book that I'm obsessed with. So I'm obsessed with all Zadie Smith's books. So I could say all of her books are here. I love her. NW is probably my favorite. And then I also read another book called Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. That's a great book as well. Music, I have been listening to one of my friends from back home. He is a rapper. He's very famous now, so I'm not just going, listen to my friend. No, he's brilliant. He's amazing. He's called George. He's just had his album out, I think it was about a month ago. And his music is amazing, and he is literally just the most creative person you've ever seen in your life. Like the visuals, because he had like a visual film, and it's absolutely breathtaking. You have to look him up. He's amazing.
How do you spell his name?
George, Jords.
Awesome. Alrighty. I just had to fight with the autocorrect. Try to,
yes. Love that autocorrect.
Yeah.
And he also just put out a new song, and all the funds are going towards the Black Curriculum in the UK, which is an organisation trying to actually have some form of British Black history within our school curriculum, which is amazing. He's just great. Podcasts would definitely have to be the Red Couch podcast. Have you heard of it?
Yeah,
Yes
someone
talk about
else
it in his?
mentioned it. Yep.
Did he? Oh, I knew he would. Um, oh, it's just brilliant. It
Yeah.
honestly, that podcast changed my life. I think we started listening to it 3 years ago or something, and it's amazing. If someone who influences me that's famous would be Alma, who is on that podcast. She is just unreal. They talk a lot about justice and liberation and theology, and definitely talk about it's just sorry, I get too excited so I can't find the
No,
word,
you're good.
but it's amazing. That's a brilliant podcast that you have to listen to.
Yeah. And propaganda, if you're listening, drop a new episode already. It's kind of been a while.
Yes, come on,
But
come on, Alma, do it.
yeah. Cool. All right. Are you learning any new skills while in quarantine? Learning to play an instrument or something? Or
You know what? Again, this is full honesty podcast hour. I did not learn any skills whatsoever. I was not the one baking bread or sourdough or banana bread or learning an instrument. I was just catching up on reading and watching a lot of TV. I
it's all
know
good.
I wasted it, but you know what? That's rest. I was still working from home, so I was technically still working, okay? And we didn't have as much time in quarantine as everybody else. That's my excuse.
Yeah, that's true. You got like two different sets of people in quarantine, people that are staying busy, like on or getting busier, or people are just bored, like completely.
Yeah.
So yeah, dang. I wish I was the bored one, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like you wish you were that when
Yeah,
when people have all this time and you're like, where did that go? Where did that come from?
true that for sure. And awesome. So if there was one thing you could ask your future self, what would it be? And if there's one thing you could tell your high school self, what would it be?
Ooh, that's my last ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what I'd ask my future self. I think it would be. I just hope it would be that I'd probably ask if I was. Oh, I don't know actually. Honestly, I tend to look at the future too much. So and I think I'll actually go with what I would tell my younger self. I would tell my younger self to be yourself. Is it a question I'm asking her, or am I telling
Something
her
you're
something?
telling it.
Okay, good. I was like,
Mhm.
because I probably would already know if I was
Yeah,
telling her something.
pretty much.
um, I would tell her that everything's going to be okay. That just be yourself, and life is going to go in a way that you had no idea it was going to go. You're going to meet incredible people, and that it's all gonna be good. It's all gonna be okay. And just
Nice.
take each day at a time, find the fun, find the joy in life, and it's gonna be great.
Awesome. That's good advice. And actually, I have one more question to end it. But if there
Ooh,
was, yeah, it's kind of back on the diversity thing. So
yeah.
if there was one solution a person of any ethnicity, gender, or social status could take to make the world more equal for everyone, was one simple thing they could do.
I think the thing they could do, or we could do, is be active listeners. So meaning that we have to sit back and listen and have that humility to hear people and really hear them, hear stories, hear struggles, but act on those and act on dismantling those systems around us and being really proactive in that sense of making sure that we're fighting for one another, that we're not letting our, the people around us, hurt, that we're fighting, and that we're not just going to stay silent or just sit back and relax because it's not affecting you, but that we're gonna fight for each other because we know each other. We've heard each other. Yeah, I think that's what I would say.
Awesome. That was an oh snap moment with Phoebe Montañez. Yeah. Cool. And you did it. Yeah. You got through the podcast. How you feeling?
Amazing. Good. I'm feeling good.
Cool. Well, I just want to encourage you before we end that you're really a woman of God, and that I feel like there's just so much more in your life that's things to come, and just want to let you know that you're a light in the darkness. You just keep shining. So stay bright, keep doing your thing.
Oh, thank you. I say you're going to make me cry. Have you ever had anyone cry on the podcast before?
Oh, no, you be the first. Go ahead.
Thank you. And for you, thank you so much for doing this. This is opening up so much for people before and after, because college and life it's hard. It's a struggle, but you're making it a lot easier for people to know that this is for them. Someone who would have thought maybe that this would never be a pathway in their life, they know that it's actually okay. People can do this. And even for people who have finished, it's like, okay, college wasn't everything. There's more to life. So you're really, really empowering a lot of people. And I think it's so special that you're allowing people to share their stories. And that's just so powerful. And you are such an incredible man, Isaiah. Always have been. You've always just been one of the most kind-hearted, loveliest people ever. And never forget that, and keep going, because you are doing such a phenomenal job.
Oh, thank you. And you're pretty
and
cool
Montañez's
too.
Love you.
Shout out. But is there anything you want to promote at the moment? Do you have like a local business or social media or anything? And if not for you, then any places that you support?
Yeah, I would definitely say I go and listen to their album and listen to George. As I was saying, I definitely want to give him a shout out. And I would also, I think he's my shout out. Everyone go listen to that album, download it, stream it, everything. Listen to all his music. He's just amazing. So I definitely give him a shout out. And also look at all the other creatives in your area where you are within your communities, and look up all your local keeps. Because It's not hard to find. You just have to look for it.
Oh, dang. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Support your people.
Oh, yeah. Power to the people. But anyway. Yeah. Thank you once again for coming on. It was pretty awesome.
Thank you, Isaiah. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
It's all good. And for everybody else out there listening, until next time, we're just going to keep maturing, keep learning and stirring up and chasing after what our Creator created us to do. So have a good one, everyone. Nice.